Alright, here we are with another Colt Cougar draws, and I was not quite sure who to draw this week, but I think ultimately Colt Cougar's gonna have to draw. This is so classy. It's got to be Smiley and Vegeta, because that means I can talk about the Smiley show, and if I draw anyone else, you know, I'll have to explain it until I get to Smiley and Vegeta. Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z, Smiley is the host of the Smiley show. Obviously, I daren't call him an original character since he's kind of just a smiley face, you know. The personality I give him is original, but it's never really been explored, certainly not in the Smiley shows people have seen me do. He has a phenomenal backstory that's incredibly intricate. it's truly ridiculous, and yeah, I don't know, it's like the very definition of trivia. It's stuff that will never have any real world application, but you can feel like a real smug asshole for knowing it. I don't typically draw Smiley's legs because he's usually at his desk. I mean, yeah, I'm in that Rob Liefeld mode. You know, feet are not necessary. We don't. Let's just get some smoke. There we go. So he's just a guy. This is a shirt, and he has like a sweatshirt or something underneath. He does have hands. I kind of typically, you know, quite a lot of the time I put them in his pockets because I don't know. That's what pockets are for, right? I am going to apply color later on because I think that could be useful. And his hands are just like hands. He doesn't have Simpsons hands, although he is yellow, so I guess technically he does. He has like circular eyes. Like they're dots, but I wouldn't call them beady, but because he's, you know, he's he's not the suspicious guy. That's Vegeta. And then just, you know, oh my god, right, let's try a little bit more. Because he's Smiley. This is the guy I draw shorthand. I'm never gonna need to like kind of draw him with any. I mean, like, look at this collar. Yeah, he's the guy I'm going to be drawing like this much of. Like this is how much I need. And typically he's by his desk. Yeah, we'll just do like sketches, and then we'll do like at the end a picture of him that's maybe not so half-assed. No promises now. You know, the Smiley show is basically, it's like a talk show. Plush chair. And he just asks silly questions to silly guests who are typically video game characters. Vegeta is the co-host. He typically asks offensive questions or wants to like test his strength against some of the characters, because there'll be a lot of beat 'em up dudes and stuff. Oh yeah, am I drawing him with his goatee? Because that's kind of, yeah. He didn't even notice. He is super shorthand for me. So yeah, this is basically, this right here is the entirety of the Smiley show set. There's the wall, right? Vegeta is off here somewhere. Although I don't know if I've ever clarified how it is that he's to the left, Smiley's left. But that's where I imagine him. There used to be over here Sagat with the sound guys. Like, you know, it's based on the David Letterman show, and he has like that guy who had the band that did the little musical intros when guests came out. I had Sagat playing that role from Street Fighter, but I was drawing too many people and not enough guests, and yeah, I decided to bring it back to just Smiling Vegeta. Do I need to say anything more about him? His personality type is he's like silly, unassuming, naive kind of is like unassuming. He's just an all-round nice guy. He's probably very comparable to Son Goku from Dragon Ball Z, which is probably why I paired him with Vegeta. Because Vegeta is very comparable to Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z, and their dynamic of dumbass and angry guy. I'm a big fan of Ren and Stimpy, so you know that's where that comes from. So on my desktop, the Cintiq desktop, I do have some Vegeta references. I typically don't draw Vegeta with any particular. I mean, it's varied over the time I've been drawing Vegeta, from like semi-accurate representation from Dragon Ball Z to just complete. He's some other guy. You know, I always start with the furrowed brow. Vegeta has a range of expressions, but you should never really drift too far away from angry. I draw his nose differently quite a lot of the time. Dragon Ball characters actually have extraordinarily narrow chins. You know, when me and Mystic Moore were doing daily sketches, we did do a lot of the Dragon Ball Z characters, and that's when I kind of realized like Vegeta's mouth is like all Dragon Ball characters, like their nose, their mouth, their chin, super like tight together. They take up a very small amount of real estate. But yeah, I mean, if I'm drawing Vegeta, this is where we go. I know a lot of his facial landmarks. I don't typically want to worry too much about their hair. Just block it in with lines or something. He wears the Badman, the iconic Badman pink shirt that he wore in Dragon Ball Z, currently in my Smiley Show layout. Because it's awesome, it's hilarious, and it's weird. And any opportunity for guests to remark on it, or for him to point out he's a bad man, or you know, whatever. You know, the whole point of the Smiley Show is it's just taking these characters and trying to put them in situations where they're acting like they would, just with people that are from other intellectual properties. So, you know, it's not like the internet isn't awash with this kind of stuff. Like, I don't think you typically see the real Vegeta with like a pronounced lip shape. I typically kind of draw that because it's like my entire art style is like this half, or maybe it's like 2/3 manga to 1/3 Western approach. And I find typically I get better results the less detailed I am. Like, you know, I don't really, I mean, like that's an extreme head shape, but can you tell who it is yet? Oh no, not that guy. Don't quote that guy, whatever you do. I am officially banned from the internet and life. I've got my own chair in hell now for making a Rolf Harris joke. I'm this close to singing two little boys. Right, let's actually have a look at a couple of pictures of Vegeta. And the thing about Vegeta is he's changed over time as well. Oh, that's kind of small. Alright, so this is like midway through. Actually, Yeah, you see, I'm drawing like this amalgamation. Like I'm narrowing his face too much. This would be him halfway through the season when everyone suddenly started getting horse necks, because you know they were training, they were working hard, saving the world from all that crazy stuff. I love that this guy used to be. Let me just get rid of the. Yeah. Hold on, no, I can't use the. Curses. Forward by my reliance on actually pushing buttons and not using shortcuts. And I lost my train of thought. It doesn't matter. See, this is the thing I always remember when I'm drawing Vegeta. Like, his eye is like, you've got the brow line, one line down, another line down, and then one connecting line. But whenever I draw Vegeta, there's always like some kind of curve. It's not the same eye shape. One of these pictures I have of Vegeta is actually not technically done in the same. And I never do these cheek lines, I guess you would call them. And yeah, see, Vegeta has a kind of a pointy nose unless he's drawn directly from the front, and then it's like just your atypical small. Yeah, this is not the finest work you've ever seen, is it? Anyway, let's have a little refresher. I think I will always be looking to find the middle ground between how Vegeta is represented in Dragon Ball Z and how I draw him, because, you know, I'm not looking to represent anyone. Wow, these proportions, they're no good. Someone call Sonic. We need the quote. Yeah, I'm not looking to draw Vegeta perfectly accurate. Okay, I opened on the wrong screen. Yep. Dual monitors. It's fun for the whole family. This is apparently drawn by the One Punch Man artist. So he's got his own take on Vegeta, but it's very cool. Which is kind of what I'm trying. That is not good. Yeah, see, because his eye shapes are much more like organic. He's not tethered to Vegeta's eyebrows. My reference drawing is way out of whack this week. It was out of whack when I was drawing John Wayne and that octopus. It's out of whack now. Really, the best way to draw from reference is to actually grid up the reference image, grid up your page, and literally like put the image together box by box. But that sounds an awful lot like maths, and I don't think most artists really care for maths. Designers might, but I am not here to do maths. Yeah, maybe make him look a bit evil. That's kind of the point. Yeah, so he's still got the crazy hair. It's technically maybe a little bit crazy. Less crazy. It's interesting how if you've never tried to draw manga characters, you might just assume that they're easier to draw than, say, like realistic. Well, I mean, yeah, if you're working from a real person in still life, it is definitely easier to draw like a 2D simplification and an abstraction of the face, the head. But all manga artists have their own unique style, and a lot of them are quite good, at changing the proportions of the face and getting away with it. Yeah, this one might be from Dragon Ball Super. Yeah, monitor shrinkage not reflected when I drag these things across. Come on. I don't think I'm that much like the box office artist, but you don't really want to be showing stuff that's just too lazy. Even for me, and I'm a lazy guy when it comes to this stuff. I need to develop a style where I apply like my own framework to the image and then overlap that with like the details, but where I think they should go. Yeah, I mean, that might not make sense as I explain it. It probably won't make sense while I try to do it. But I will look into it, or I won't. I have a Steam collection full of games that could always do with more playing. I should probably just film myself practicing so I actually bother to practice. Yeah, there's something about the way this picture is cell shaded that makes me think it's probably from Dragon Ball Super. I can't quite pinpoint why I don't like Dragon Ball Super's art style. Okay, his nose is like, I haven't foreshortened his face enough. It's fine. I probably don't want to foreshorten his chin that much if I'm going to be like that. Maybe it's the way, yeah, it might be the way their lower jaws work. Maybe it's not about the colouring, it's about the proportions. Because I typically think of Vegeta being this like, here's the eyes, here's the nose, here's the mouth, but then here you've got all of this. That's a chin that goes into his muscle neck. A lovely string of terrible pictures of Vegeta. Yeah. Badman t-shirt. That's detail that is very important. This is fan art. I try to avoid fan art, but some fan art just has everything you need. I mean, do I need to draw anything here? Let's just do it. This is just about the t-shirt. Short sleeved shirt. Really, it's just about the text, and I mean it's literally as simple as writing the word Badman, thickening up the line weight a little bit, and then just giving it a unified outline. And if I forget, I've got my little reminder. Far more difficult for me to remember how to draw is the front of his shirt. It's the collar. Typically, let's go full screen for a minute so I can enjoy the pleasures of working at a size a little bit bigger than way too small. Typically, it's kind of like how I draw Akuma. It's not remotely accurate to an actual image of him. I've recently discovered. I give him just a shirt, alright? So shirt collar, short sleeve, or well, maybe broader. He's kind of like Wolverine, stocky. But that's not what his collar actually looks like. It's he's on that open collar shit. I don't even know why I bother with like this stuff. I'm just not gonna be using those things. To actually place things. Right, so the collar actually comes up from behind the neck, comes down. It's very broad, and it's got like a second lapel. I I only ever learned how to draw like one item of clothing that goes from the neck down. So clothing references on my list, and Vegeta's shirt is at the top. I think only 1.5 Smiley shows have I actually rendered his pink shirt as the pink shirt from Dragon Ball Z. And then buttons. Thing about not drawing Vegeta so slavishly accurate to how he's portrayed is that I can just screw around with his eyes and not not kind of care that it's the kind of thing that isn't quite what you would see even in accurate fan art. At the end of the day, the Smiley Show is just... I've always said I want it to look like it was drawn by some really nuts, like 5-year-old that's just got the best sense of humor. We don't worry about things like details or facts. That's for grown-ups. Right, you see that the benefit of working in a small scale, you can fit a lot in. So smiley, white shirt, black sleeves, black slacks, any type of shoe you can bother to draw, yellow, smiley face guy, goatee, Vegeta, read as Vegeta, Badman t-shirt, Badman shirt I should say. Right, so let's maybe draw something a little classier for both of them. M. Bison is the other guy who's like the core member of staff. He finances the Smiley Show, so I probably don't want to talk too much about him as well, but he would be he's going to come up a lot, and he's going to cameo a lot. If ever a guest comes on who's a boss character from a beat 'em up, there might be choice words, there might be some posing, there might be some fighting. So Smiley is probably 6 feet-ish. Vegeta is atypically short. At least I'm assuming he's short. I think of Vegeta a lot like he's Wolverine. Like that's how he would never be standing like shoulder to shoulder or eye to eye with Cyclops. It's always this angry guy looking up at this other guy. Folded arms. That's a regular pose. So if these feet, they'll take me all the way to the top. So Vegeta's probably about here. maybe twice as wide. Yeah, I must confess to feeling a little bit off today. I was applying for real world jobs and I haven't quite recovered. Yeah, this is another great thing about digital art. If I kind of place Vegeta at the wrong height, I can do something about that. Yeah, I mean, I've been putting this off all week. But it's better to do it bad than not do it at all. Yeah, we might. Yeah, this is the place for Bison. Are we gonna? No, he should probably be folding his arms as well. Arm folding is I've heard it said in psychological terms is it's a defensive posture that shows an inability to engage in communication in an open, understanding manner. So Smiley actually shouldn't be folding his arms. Folding your arms is actually something you do because it's comfortable. But you know how it is. Psychoanalysis, it's bad for Batman and it's bad for you, so yeah, let's just yeah, I don't think we need anybody praising the sun, but I am thinking about it. Yeah, let's put Smiley in front. I've already had a Vegeta flipping the bird. So do we commit to this type of physique? Maybe we raise him up a little bit. Maybe like that. One of my many shortcomings as an artist is the inability to keep things relatively in scale to each other. This comes from just a lack of practice in drawing multiple characters in the same place at the same time. I'm gonna maybe make a second YouTube video series that kind of deals with those kind of things. Short tasks, like showing competence in a very particular way, kind of like what I think should have happened in my art course. Like, you know, here's a problem, you need to prove that you can solve it. You've got like a couple of hours, understand the theory, and then kind of apply your own solution, right? Because obviously if you want to get anywhere, you have to show a level of professional competence. No, not accurate, not concerned. Right. Give him the squinty eyes. Is it Vegeta? Or is it Grumpy Cat? You tell me. See, that's enough for me. I'm like, you get the hair, you get those eyebrows, you get the big ears, you get a upset looking fella, you've got Vegeta. Alright, that mouth is a little bit... Yeah, there we are. That's probably a pretty good neutral face for him. What do I remember from the shirt? Double lapel. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to look again. But the beautiful thing about keeping all your reference images in folders on your desktop is that's not really an issue. when I sketched the smiley show, it's several different levels of refined, in quote marks, sketches. Right, he's behind. So typically this would be like sketch layer 1, and then I'll just turn down the opacity, add another layer. There's a beautiful thing in Manga Studio where you can blue scale an image with this, just pushing this layer color option. Found that out like a couple of weeks ago. Professional pencilers sometimes pencil in this color, this kind of blue, because it doesn't scan very well. So if you do your pencils in a blue pencil, it doesn't interfere when you ink, so you don't actually have to clean up your pencils. You can just ignore them, which is I'm sure a very great time-saving thing, technique. So yeah, this would be what I would typically do. Small refinements. Like this jaw, there's a lot of hoo-ha. Now there's a whole lot less hoo-ha. So yeah. His eyes too close together? Do we want to beef up his eyebrows? Actually, yeah, that's how his eyebrows are. Like they're eyebrows, and he's got the big block, and then some bits on the side. Yeah. I feel like I've drawn Vegeta with epic sideburns in the past. I did consider a lot of ways of simply not drawing Vegeta because, you know, maybe I want the Smiley Show to make money at some point, and obviously if Team 4 Star can't get away with using Vegeta, I ain't gonna get away with it. But in the end, the whole point of the Smiley Show is it's jokes about and involving characters you know, and I know and love. And if it's just a bunch of dudes who are clearly meant to be people like Dante from Devil May Cry or Solid Snake from Metal Gear Solid, instead of it actually being them, that's kind of shortchanging me and it's shortchanging you. I'd be quite happy to just dump the Smiley Show somewhere so that people can read it. They blow through a massive stack of them. They have their shits and giggles, and then they go back to, you know, playing Fortnite or whatever. But I really do need to build my little dump of legacy Smiley Shows, and then start brand new production. And the production side of it is its own issue. You know, I have a lot of tools available in a lot of different programs, and you know, just this week I was thinking about coloring using a different coloring method. It kind of uses like a charcoal brush. It's super messy, but it might be an interesting alternative to like coloring with airbrushes. Probably not suitable for the Smiley Show per se, but if I decide I want to maybe color the first page in a way that's like got no black lines, in a kind of like a semi-realistic way, it might work out. Hands, need to reference hands. Yeah. Or not focus on any one particular detail, because people aren't going to be on the page that long. That's kind of what I'm hoping I can do, ultimately, is the least amount of... Well, these hands are terrible. But do the least amount of work, because nobody really cares about Smiley's hands. They care about the stupid jokes Vegeta's making. Yeah, see, I've drawn Vegeta too normal looking, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. That doesn't bother me. I don't know, it reminds me of like one of those guys from GTA 5, like just the normal looking dude who's not Trevor. The guy who just wears like a grey pastel suit. Let's not spend the rest of the world on this, but yeah. Right, so I like Smiley's head to not be perfectly round. I like there to be a tapering to the chin. Three strokes at the bottom of his head, which I guess makes him the reverse Homer. I don't know. Does Homer have 3 hairs on his head or 2? I think that's actually like a canonical joke. I think there was an entire episode where he might have lost one of the hairs on his head. But don't quote me on that. Like everybody else, I haven't watched The Simpsons in about 15 fucking years. Bit of under neck shading. Just because I know that that's a thing you can do. Actually, can I just get away with... Yeah, see, that's a lot tighter. I'd probably do a third one. If we just... Whoops. What layer am I on? Nobody here came here to see me draw pants, so we're not gonna bother with that. Just what I would like to do is maybe have a little look at different facial expressions. One of my favorite things with Smiley is it keeping him neutral or having him lose his mind? But you know, he might suddenly get eyes, you know. Do a we're gonna call it a shin grin. I don't Shin from Fist of the North Star did a look like this. It's some kind of Japanese cultural thing where it's like a sad grimace smile thing because you're super disturbed, right? So got that going on. can we just go like what about, yeah. There it is. There's the range. I don't like add a shine to Smiley's head, but maybe I could. It doesn't seem inconceivable. I don't know what material he's made of. He's bright yellow, so my lighting options, I don't think I'd want him to be ultra shiny, but then I'm so bad at rendering material in color. What do we want? What do we want to do with this? Should we just like... Can I get away with this? Is this too extreme? Something like this where he looks like a silly anime character with normal anime eyes. I would pull this one out very, very rarely, but like I like to keep his eyes as solid black. But I mean, surprise, like how are you going to show that without you know, like a little dot in a big circle? There is a picture of the Joker in Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns where the Joker has eyes like this. It's maybe my favorite picture ever right now. It's so bizarre and inappropriate for the character. It defines, it makes it, it's brilliant. Right, do we want to do a, yeah, let's see if we can do a range of Smiley. Let's have a, I don't understand. Gotcha. I was going to give this guy hair once. What a crazy idea, right? Everybody knows bald is awesome. Everyone who's bald knows bald is awesome, including Shawn Michaels now. So if you haven't seen a picture, do not go and see a picture of Shawn Michaels with no hair. Your childhood will officially be over. Somebody's been at the Kool-Aid. Let's bring that down. Yeah, obviously Smiley is a very simple design, and that's a good thing. I've drawn Guilty Gear characters. Every belt is its own challenge. Bring me guys like this, we'll have a good time. I mean, really, this is the level of the quality of artwork I'm happy with for the Smiley show. It's loose sketched line work. It has a kind of an energy to it that you can lose when you overwork things. Can we think of anything that's no, that'll do. Actually, you know what? Let's go for the Liu Bei. Sad face overcry. So we want. And do we want him to have exceptionally big ears just so everybody knows it's Liu Bei? Do we actually want to? Do you want to give him facial hair so it's extra obvious? If this is mockery of Liu Bei? Yeah, someone might be offended by that, namely Liu Bei. Mr. Vegeta. It feels inappropriate to draw him without a furrowed brow. Would I want to cut that chin? Yeah, I don't know, manga proportions. Little chins with wide heads. I have my good days and my bad days. Trying to reconcile that stuff. Yeah, let's try and go a little bit quicker here. Can we go for shock? Let's you know, I wonder if I have explained how to draw either of these characters at all. When you know what you're talking about, it's very easy to not necessarily explain what you mean, because you know what you mean. But whether someone who doesn't know knows, you can only be sure if you've bashful. Can we do bashful? Maybe, yeah. There's almost an apology about to happen, but he'll deny it to the end of time. Well, that may be a bit more like thoughtful. Like, yeah, maybe maybe someone's just told him Son Goku's like so stupid because he's got brain damage, and it's like, oh, I didn't know he actually had a medical problem. I just thought he was doing it to piss me off. But I'm not gonna stop. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Just like Smiley's got faces I wouldn't want to pull out often. Could I have some kind of... Alright, no, this looks this looks evil happy, not yeah. It will take me a couple of attempts to draw a picture of Vegeta where he looks like he's trying to do a smile, where he isn't trying to kill someone, or hasn't just killed someone. Yeah, I think the best thing to do is to call this Colt Cougar Draws, not Colt Cougar Teaches, right? Right, so let's see what happens if we just remove the eyebrows from the eyes. Come in with something. There's something extremely disturbing about the idea of this guy not scowling. I like that. That's very disturbing, and that is what we're here for. We're here to be disturbed. We're here to personally shin grin and do that thing Vince McMahon does with the ear tug, which I am going to have to wiki because I can't explain that because I don't know what happened, but I know that it's a childhood memory that I enjoy. That would be the Vince McMahon who runs the WWE. Like you don't know who Vince McMahon is. Vincent Kennedy McMahon. Vincent Kennedy McMahon. Right, where are we? Yeah, there's a smiley showing Vegeta acting nice. I'm sure of that. I'm gonna have his eyes closed. Give him a slight smirk. Yeah, I might make his eyebrows go too far across his head, but I think that's a problem with me typically drawing characters. I give too much space for the eyes. They're like, you're supposed to have an eyes space between the eyes and then an eye space after the eyes and to the ears, and I'm not respecting that any more than Vegeta respects anything. But yeah, I think the head shape's pretty consistent. It should be. I've been sketching this guy a long bloody time now. Shouldn't keep using the same angle because that shows a lack of dynamism, which is something I definitely struggle with. See, that's how I would draw Vegeta's nose from the side as well, like some kind of pointy thing. I want shock, but how much shock do I want? Is that too much? Yeah, maybe something like that. Aversion. What do? You add like... Yeah, I think that's the manga shortcut for like fear or something, right? Or I guess you could do the whole teardrop thing, but you don't want to do both. There's the neck. Yeah, that's not a sane man's mouth, right? Whatever. It's not a sane man's representation of a mouth, I should say. I'm not trying to say Vegeta's the problem. Although Vegeta is typically the problem. Okay, we have a nice kind of top-down thing here. Yeah, extreme foreshortening angles with characters who typically don't have an under chin. How's that going to work out for me? As you know, probably want to leave the smirk alone. It's a Vegeta staple. Is that how we go about doing an under chin? Low ears. Should probably be more like... Okay, we need something. All right. Give him that kind of I'm in charge now. I'm in charge here kind of arms folded attitude. I feel like his face either needs to be underlit or it needs some kind of extreme lighting. Oh, and yeah, if you want to know how to draw Super Saiyan Vegeta, just make his black hair yellow, job done. Or blue, or pink, or whatever's in season. What's next, green? I guess Broly's got the monopoly on that, right? Yeah, maybe you give him that lighting where he's like double lit from the left and the right, but there's no front source. They do that a lot on Fist of the North Star. A little bit, not a lot. They acknowledge that that's what they're going for without not drawing the front of the characters, so you can't see them. So this is a range of Vegeta faces that will get you through the day. Some choice smiley ones. Yeah, that Liu Bei one, that's going in the bank. Those ears are too much. Which, yeah, let's just black pants, black shoes. Would I draw Vegeta top heavy? Probably. I don't want him to have like ultra muscle legs if he's just wearing a pair of slacks, which he is. And I know Vegeta does have a pair of like muscle legs, but he's short and angry enough without having his legs trying to explode out of his pants. Yeah, switching between two layers like that's not particularly clever. Whatever, you'll see plenty of examples of me doing a decent job of Smiley Show main characters as the Smiley Shows come out. I'll be dumping them on Flickr. I'll leave a link in the description. And I have a Pecha on the Smiley Show. I'll leave a link to that as well. It's it's from years ago. I don't even have a title card for that Smiley Show, which is great. Yeah, I distinctly doubt you learned anything about how to draw Vegeta or Smiley here, but you will know a lot more about the Smiley Show, and really that's what this is all about. Drawing people as they would appear on the Smiley Show. And I get to do a little bit of practice. Alright, so hopefully that wasn't too long, hopefully it was entertaining, and I'll see you in the next one.